This is Charles McDonald. You can find me on Twitter at 4verts. I'm playing with my co-host, Stephen Ruiz. You can find him on Twitter at the Stephen Ruiz. And we are here to preview the divisional round. We're using the Ravens versus the Bills, which is going to be happening on Saturday night. Stephen, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm gracious that you didn't make me pick the play as the Bills. I couldn't do that. I would never play as the Bills.
That's Madden's fault for not letting the person who starts the match be the away team, because I totally wanted to play for the Ravens and just cheese you again with Lamar Jackson like I did with DK Metcalf last week. But
MAGA Charles opting with the white quarterback. Don't make any excuses.
So yeah, we just use this spot really to kind of talk about what's going to happen in these playoff games, what we think is going to happen. I'm not sure how we did last week our predictions, but I'm sure that would be 100% correct this week. And I think that we, in the podcast we just recorded, the counter that we do for the win, we picked different teams for this matchup right here. I went with the Ravens, and I'm pretty sure you went with the Bills. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I picked the Bills, but it was a coin flip for me. But I think it was a coin flip for both of us. I had no idea he was going to win. That's why I want to see it so much.
Yeah, and the thing that I kind of get stuck on is like the matchup between the Bills receivers and the Ravens defensive backs is kind of where I think this game is going to be won, mainly because I feel like the Bills are going to have trouble stopping Lamar Jackson on the ground. So I think like if you can just kind of play that brand of football that you do if you're the Ravens, which is just blitzing and try to force Josh Allen to some errors, maybe you get a pick. Like I think that's kind of where they win this game. And I guess I feel a little bit more strongly about their ability to defend than the Bills' ability to kind of generate explosive plays against them. But that's going to be a tough matchup regardless for the Ravens.
Yeah, and I think it's going to come down for me is like how effective their blitzing is. If they can't blitz, or if they can't get to Josh Allen and kind of corral him in the pocket, I just don't see how it holds up against Stephon Diggs. Like I know Marlon Humphrey's great, but Stephon Diggs is getting open versus basically anybody.
Yeah, and Humphrey did struggle a little bit last week with A.J. Brown, but I think one good thing that that Martindale did, it's like you got a little bit creative and put Peters on A.J. Brown, and then that kind of really shut down the whole thing. So, let's go!
Not a good start.
Flex on them. But they kind of got stuck last week with A.J. Brown hurting Marlon Humphrey at the start of the game, and after that, they put Peters on A.J. Brown, and that was the end of the Titans' offense pretty much.
Yeah, I kind of think that early success the Titans found was kind of fake because it was those passes to A.J. Brown. It's not like they were poorly defended. He was just like mossing Marlon Humphrey. They were like tight window throws and happened to complete them. They were like fade passes, and like you can't make an offense out of that. So as shaky as the pass offense looked early on, I'm not worried about it at all.
Oh God!
I'm playing terribly.
Oh damn it!
Cooper's coming. And like that's like those are the type of plays that I think they have to stop. Like those outside the pocket on the run. If Josh Allen's hitting those accurate, like there's really no stopping this Bills offense.
Yeah, and I think that Colts game and shoot!
That's the Josh Allen I know and love.
Yeah.
there's Joshy.
Oh man, I got a text from my buddy Richard that said our audio was a little choppy, which is unfortunate, but I don't know how to fix that, so let's just power through.
Oh God.
I really thought I had him. Better chance. This is from Jarvinator, who was on the stream last week.
Might be me.
Okay. Better chance of winning this week: Rams or Browns?
Oh, that's terrible.
Okay. Thank you, Chris Boulding, for saying it's not choppy for you. Because I don't know how to fix that. So.
Oh Someone said it
So
wasn't choppy for them, so maybe Richard just has a bad.
yeah, we're gonna Richard. You know that's on you. So how about you
What is
fix your?
that Sinful Six money? You
Yeah, the
can't
Simple
afford a
Six
better
and
internet
the
connection?
ESPN money. Come on now, up that bandwidth, baby. Uh, did you hear the question I asked?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
So someone asked, who's got a better chance of winning this weekend, the Browns or the Rams? And I think we're both on the Rams for that.
Yeah, like I'm actually picking the Rams to win. I think it's a matchup thing for me. I think the Rams defense. Jesus Christ, did you just see what Oliver did?
Yeah.
I guess you were controlling him, but yeah, it's a matchup thing for me. I feel like everything the Packers do, the Rams defense is set up to stop. Like whether it's the play action game, they're trying to hit those intermediate crossers, or Packers run a lot of RPO, and a lot has been made of Brandon Staley's scheme and how it's like college inspired. And I'm just throwing into coverage. Oh,
Wow.
this is awful.
Dude, you're gonna tell people that Lamar can't play quarterback after a minute of
I was going to
this.
say this is an old white man's dream.
I
Bill
don't even remember what we were
Polian is
talking
loving
about.
this game.
I'm definitely about to score on this drive. You know, maybe that big pass through Dawson Knox, maybe that's how the Bills kind of offset some of this because I do kind of like. Oh shoot! Well, this is a good question from Achima Zero. What's your guys' take on the whole? You have to have an offensive coach. Uh, thing
I think it's
when you're hiring.
dumb. I think it's dumb as hell. Like, the greatest coach in the history of the NFL is a defensive coach. The second greatest coach in the history of the NFL, like, I don't know who that is, but, like, Don Shula is a guy that a lot of people is a defensive coach. Like, a lot of the great defensive coaches in the history of the league have been defensive coaches. So it's just,
Yeah,
I don't know what that's based on.
Yeah, I think that coming hard against either one is just kind of silly. Like you have to have an offensive coach or you have to have a defensive coach, even though no one's saying the latter right now. But like, if you are just like pigeonholing yourself like this to just offensive coaches, you're going to miss out on someone who could be like a really good leader for you. So, and obviously there is the fear like if you hire a an offensive guy or if you hire a defensive guy, then you're going to be stuck on the back end with an offensive guy leaving. But honestly, I feel like that's not that horrible a situation to be in because, like, at least that means you've had some success around the road where someone will want to poach your staff, which is, like there are worse spots to be in than people going like, oh, that's a good program. I want a piece of what they're doing to bring to what we've got. So if you're in that situation, it kind of is what it is. Like I totally get that concern, but if you're a team that really likes Robert Saleh or Brandon Staley, that fear alone should not scare you away from picking that guy. Just pick who you think is the best and pray that it works out for you. But I think kind of pigeonholing yourself like that is just a way to end up really, really dissatisfied with what you're trying to do on
And
really the entire
we,
organization. Go ahead.
yeah, we were talking about this on the counter actually, in regard to black GMs that were hired and how NFL teams are, kind of been incentivized to hire more black coaches and black GMs. Like when you expand the talent pool, you get a better group of candidates. Simple. Like so, if you're, shrinking the talent pool just because you want an offensive guy, maybe you're not going to get the best candidate that you want. At the end of the day, you just want the best coach. And
Right.
I think one of the attributes you look for is a head coach that can identify good assistant coaches. So if your offensive coordinator leaves, then you have a guy that can just find another good offensive coordinator.
Right. And I think that's just it's an important thing to. I think it's also an important thing to kind of realize like where you are as an organization. So if I'm, maybe if I'm someone like where we're just like starting from scratch, I'm really just kind of looking for the best possible leader that I can find. Like I'm not really too concerned about offense or defense because the whole thing kind of needs to be blown up. But like if you're a team that's close, I feel okay a little bit more with the specialization there. Like if you're like, all right, we just kind of need to get this thing more organized on offense, and that's our goal for the next couple seasons, then yeah, maybe you go and hire an offensive guy. But if you're someone like the Jets or the Jaguars or teams of that nature where it's just a whole thing that's got to be redone, just pick the best leader you can find and work it out from there. And I mean,
Yeah, like
yeah,
with the Jets, just hire Salah. I feel like he's like when I wrote the thing matching the jobs with perfect candidates, and Salah was my pick for the Jets, and it's just because, like you said, they're starting from scratch. I don't know if you want to pick. You're picking your coach based on a guy that's going to match your personnel the best. It's like who's going to build a winning program or who's going to be the best leader. And I think Salah, by all accounts, has been a great leader. He's gotten endorsements from Richard Sherman. If you're getting an endorsement from Richard Sherman, who is not afraid to call out a coach in public, then I think it's a good sign.
yeah, and even if you just look at this game between the Bills and the Ravens, you got John Harbaugh, who is former special teams coach, and then you have McDermott, who's the defensive coordinator for the Panthers before this. Like, you don't have to find an offensive guy; you just find the good coaches, and it sounds, a bit simplified, and it's a harder process than that, but that's basically what it boils down to. So, uh, oh, yes, let's
That's a
go.
dangerous throw. Yeah,
uh,
it worked out for Washington this year. Like Ron Rivera wasn't some inspired hire. I don't think the nerds would have loved that hire because he's a defensive coach. But like that, he was perfect for that team. They just needed like a real NFL coach, and they got
right.
one, and we saw the results. I know they won the NFC East. But they were still way better than they were in previous years.
Yeah. So, what are some other matchups in this Bills Ravens games that you might be looking forward to watch? We already talked about the receivers versus DBs, but what else kind of matters here?
Sean McDermott's game plan for stopping the run. I know like the Bills haven't been the best against the run, but I do think the Ravens are like a unique team where structure and I do think scheme matters because you have to corral Lamar Jackson. And if I was picking 3 or 4 coaches that I trusted to come up with a good game plan, I think Sean McDermott would be near the top of that list. So I am interested to see how he defends Lamar and that run game in this one.
Yeah, I'm also kind of interested to see, like, on both sides of the ball, if the trench like improvement can God, uh, so I got distracted by a question, which we'll get to in a second. But I'm just interested to see, like, if the improvement that the Ravens have shown on both sides of the trenches kind of continues to improve uh,
Yeah.
in this game, because that Titans game, and you talked about it this week, where they punched the Titans right in the mouth during that game where Derrick Henry, I mean, he was held to his lowest rushing output all season, 2.2 yards per carry, didn't rush for a first down, and that was really all just like that improved play in the trenches, and their offensive line has gotten a
Yeah.
little bit better too. So, like, if they can win, and this is a huge part of the game that I'm saying, but like if they can win that defensive back matchup, wow, what the fuck? Or excuse me, I'm not supposed to curse on this anymore. But what the heck? Why didn't you catch that pass? But if they can kind of improve on that, the defensive back play and the defensive line challenge, and the offensive line challenge, and I kind of like Baltimore to get this thing done, and it just seems like a team that is ready to take this next step. I don't think they can beat the Chiefs, but they can get there.
Yeah.
Which kind of leads to
Yeah.
another question. Or go ahead.
I was going to say the more I think about the game, the more I want to pick the Ravens. So I picked the Bills on the podcast, but I think I'm changing my pick.
Yeah. So someone asked, what will be a more fun matchup, Chiefs Bills or Chiefs Ravens? I think Chiefs Bills will be more fun because I like points. Uh,
Uh,
like,
yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong either way, to be honest. Like, I want to see Lamar versus Mahomes again, just because I like the Ravens. I mean, I like Lamar stylistically, but yeah, either way, it's going to be great.
oh, Chuck Clark 3 picks. Jesus.
You got Nathan Peterman in right now or something?
Basically. No, I keep gunning it. I've not tried like any touch passes over the top because I feel like if I lost that one, maybe I could have gotten it, but I just threw a bullet down the field because I know that I have Josh Allen. Saying Chuck Clark's a ball hawking safety. Come on, it's just I'm just playing like crap. Um, Jesus, I can't believe I threw that pick, dude. Like that, I was ready to put this game away. Now I'm letting you hang around a little bit longer than I should have.
Someone just asked. They just started with the scouting academy. Any tips?
Oh, that was a question I got distracted by. Yeah, somebody said they started with the scouting academy and they needed some tips. I don't, dude. I don't want to get myself in trouble, so I will refrain. Oh,
No, that's out of bounds.
damn. Predictions
Yeah,
for
my best
Devontae
team.
Adams versus Jalen Ramsey. That's a good question.
I think it's going to be disappointing. I don't think we're going to see them lined up too much. I think it's going to be disappointing in that regard. The snaps we do get between them, I think, are going to be great. And like, I hadn't realized that they never had gone up against each other. And like, when I think about that matchup stylistically, I think it's like one of the more fascinating ones where I have no idea how it's going to go, just because of how the kind of receiver Devontae Adams is and the kind of cornerback Jalen Ramsey is. I mean, he's a big dude, but he can cover T.Y. Hilton, we can cover Tyreek Hill, he can cover a bunch of different types of receivers, but Devontae Adams presents like a unique challenge that maybe he's not getting anywhere else. Like, what's a comp for Devontae Adams, another NFL receiver?
Uh, I don't know. A comparison for Devontae Adams, like he's kind of unique in the sense like of how he
Yeah.
plays and also how he's improved over the past few years of his career and from his early stages. Because I remember when he first got started, like he didn't really look like that promising of a prospect. And now he's up here as one of the best receivers in the NFL. Like, how much do the Rams travel? Because if they travel in their secondary alignments, like that is kind of the key to all of this, right?
Yeah. I, I think they travel a decent amount, but it's like game plan specific. I don't. It's not like a thing they're going to definitely do. I don't. And the Packers' offense is it's like different. So I don't know because they run a lot of play action. There's RPO. There's all these different things. It's not just like a typical NFL offense where you're gonna like. It's not like a Bucks offense where you pretty much know where the dudes are going to be. Oh my god.
Let's go.
2019, Josh Allen was not making that throw. But yeah, I don't know if they're gonna travel. I hope they do because I want to watch that match.
Oh,
I
let's get
saw
that team
coming
celebration
and I
going.
stood in the sky.
Dude, the Texas routes on these games they've been cheat codes since like Madden '05 on like regular Xbox. I don't know how like no one's figured out how to stop them or like program defense to stop them, but I thank them for their service.
I
All right,
feel
so
like
in
Madden's had the same like money plays for the last 2 decades, like corner routes, crossing routes, Texas routes. It's just the same routes have been overpowered for years.
yeah, it's great. It's lovely. So in the second half, we'll get into some of these other games. 'Cause I don't think we've touched on Bucks Saints or what was the other game? Oh, we haven't done too much on Chiefs Browns, but I don't know. Chiefs Browns just feels kind of futile. Any parting shots for this game? Any thoughts?
Uh, no, I think it's going to be the best game of the weekend. I don't know who's going to win.
Yeah, I just hope a race war doesn't break out from Lamar. The Josh Allen Lamar Jackson stuff, because Bomani Jones was talking on his podcast this week. He was like, "Are we ready for this game? Are we?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Are we ready
That's
for
your-
the Josh Allen Lamar Jackson experience?"
You wrote your key matchups and you picked Bills receivers versus Bucks DBs, but I think the key matchup is going to be on Twitter.
Yeah. There's gonna be some wars on Twitter. For those asking in the chat, Charles, me, I'm the Bills, and Steven is the Ravens, and I'm about to score again.
I'm
This is
actually
from
the Bills. Don't let 'em-
yeah. This is NFL Monkey. He asked, I think he asked, is Urban Meyer going to be a good fit with the Jaguars? And yeah.
Uh, I guess. I don't know. Willie? Sure. I mean, anyone pretending like they know what to expect is full of crap. I don't know. We don't know if it's going to work out. I think it makes sense. I don't hate the deal. The only reason I would hate it is because of who Urban Meyer is and the stuff he's done at his other stops. But Football wise, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and I totally get Jaguars fans. Oh my God, 4 interceptions for Chuck Clark. I totally get Jags fans that aren't uh, too thrilled about this hiring because
Yeah,
like this is you're at such a pivotal point in your franchise again. Like, but this time you have Trevor Lawrence, and he's going to be the first pick in the draft unless Urban does something crazy and takes Justin Fields #1 overall. But you got Trevor Lawrence in the fold, and it's like you just don't want to mess that up. And Urban, I feel like with Urban, it's either going to be great or it's going to be awful, and like there's no
yeah,
real in
no middle ground.
between. Yeah, no middle ground there. Mainly just because of like who he is, the way he's abruptly left places, all that kind of stuff. So I'm a little apprehensive on that part, but I think that the football stuff should look fine. The actual on-field product should look fine and organized and like a real football team, but there's so much more than just that aspect that goes into running an NFL franchise. Someone
Yeah,
asked me who is my favorite head coaching left for the Falcons, and like Bieniemy, if that's really on the table, not quite sure it is. It kind of seems like they're settling on, right now, just because this is who they have access to, at least, like either uh, Arthur Smith or Joe Brady. If I had to pick one of those two, I'd definitely go Arthur Smith, just because, like, Joe.
the better question
Not,
is who's someone you don't want? Who's someone that if they hired him, you would be livid?
uh, that's like a realistic candidate.
Yeah, I don't
Or are
even
we
know if
talking
there's a
like, or
real good
like
option.
like Adam Gase or something?
Dabo
I,
Sweeney gets hired by the Falcons tomorrow. What's your reaction?
I'm going to NFL.com and I'm buying Saints gear. That's what's going to happen next. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't see the thing is, like, I think the head coaching hire that has me the most apprehensive is like Joe Brady. It's just he's too young, man, and
Yeah.
the experience is just not quite there yet. So, I'd be pretty excited about Arthur Smith. It looks like they're about to hire Terry Fontenot, the assistant general manager from the Saints, and I mean, based on the job that they've been there, basically building playoff contenders on the brink of cap death every single year. I'm pretty excited. And wow, that touchdown was crap. Uh, and if the Chiefs, someone asked if the Chiefs keep Bieniemy, are they going to three-peat? Which I like that question because it also assumes that the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl this year, which we actually should
Which I'm
be.
fine with.
Yeah, which I'm totally fine with. So yeah, why not? Like if they keep the gang together for 3 years, and Bieniemy has 3 Super Bowl rings and still no one wants him, then I got nothing left to say about that.
I think like losing Bieniemy is well, I don't really know their free agent situation, but losing Bieniemy is the only reason I would be skeptical to like make them the favorite next year. It's gonna be like the only thing that really
Oh,
matters
God damn it!
that would have changed because Mahomes is still going to be there, Tyreek Hill's still going to be there, Chris Jones still going to be there. Bieniemy would be a big loss. We just wouldn't know how big because we're not behind the scenes. We don't know what he's doing, but I would assume he has a very important role. So things would
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
Would have to change.
Um, Just staying with the Chiefs Browns game, my pal Bex Walker just put in the chat. Can we talk about how amazing Nick Chubb is for a second? And I think that the other day you said something either on the podcast or in our Slack chat where you were like, "How can you watch Nick Chubb and not think that he matters?" And that's basically how I feel about Nick Chubb. I mean, the guy is just he's incredible. He's, I think, for my money, the best running back in the NFL. And anytime you're in a situation where Kareem Hunt is like your clear running back too is just that's like a fake good running
Yeah,
game.
that's like a big accomplishment. That there's no like controversy over who's getting more carries. Like it's clearly Nick Chubb, and yeah, just watching him run, like I don't even know who to compare him to, but like he just does everything you would want in a running back. He's capable of doing. He's the best player on that offense, and I don't even. I mean, the only one that's close, I would say, is maybe Wyatt Teller, who might be the best right guard in football.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, and that's kind of like the Browns' only chance I think to win this game. And we've talked about it a bunch now, but Wyatt Teller, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, like that's kind of where this is going to have to be for the Browns to win this game. Because on the flip side, like it's cool to talk about the Browns' running game and how good that is, but they still got to stop Patrick Mahomes, which is going to be
Yeah.
uh, a very tough challenge, like to say the least. I mean, I know that Denzel Ward is, I think he's supposed to be back this week, but I just don't see how they have the personnel to get that thing done. Like they can. Oh my God, they
Clark
can.
catches that ball.
Yeah, like they can make splash plays. Like Miles Garrett, and Denzel Ward can make splash plays against the Chiefs, but you still gotta have some consistency down to down where you can make that thing happen.
Chuck Clark missed the tackle.
Yep.
Miles Garrett low-key hasn't been that good since returning from COVID, like, which
Yeah,
makes sense because it's a
it's a respiratory
pandemic.
disease.
But
Yeah.
so if they can't rush the passer and they're playing that zone defense they like to play because they don't blitz at all, then Patrick Mahomes tear them up. Like even with Denzel Ward back, like I assumed with Denzel Ward back they'd play more man, but I actually checked their man snaps on Sports Info Solutions, and they were playing more man when he went out with the injury. I don't even know if that's the case. And if you're playing zone against Patrick Mahomes, I think it's over.
Yeah. Um, and that's just, it's just so hard because in theory it feels like a good plan to just kind of sit on the ball and figure this thing out, but you're going against a team that can score in like 2 plays and cover 80 yards in 2 plays, so you just gotta pray. This is from Shea Butter, a Jets head coach and quarterback prediction. They seem to really want to get this Robert Saleh thing done, but Saleh, as he should be, is exploring his options right now. So I'm not too sure about that. I think that at some point they're going to get back to Saleh and just offer him everything that he could possibly want, uh, and get back to it that way. Oh, let's go!
Hollywood Brown, he's getting beat by Josh Norman to the ball.
That's
He's a
very
bust.
realistic. That's very realistic.
Josh Norman hasn't broken on a pass like that since 2015.
Yeah. So the Jets, they've talked to Robert Saleh twice, Arthur Smith twice. So if you can just kind of follow the paper trail, and that tells you like who they're interested in. But I do
Yeah.
think that Robert Saleh is number one on their wish list right now. But obviously he's still feeling out who else is interested in him. Uh,
So let's assume they hire him and he hires a Shanahan offensive coordinator from that tree. Who do you like for them to draft? Assuming, Trevor Lawrence is going to be gone, so they're going to be Fields or Wilson probably. Like, who would you rather have in that Shanahan?
um, I mean, is it who cares a bad cop out answer?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree with that.
like, if you let's say you get what's the run game coordinator down there? Is it Mike McDaniel?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's Sally's like rumored package pairing for OC. Um, if you can get McDaniel and like let's say like you have McDaniel and you put together a scheme that looks just like Shanahan's, it doesn't really matter who the quarterback is. Like it can be Wilson, it can be Fields. I think that you could take. I think maybe you take Zach Wilson just because his upside seems a little bit higher than. Oh my God! See, Chuck Clark would have caught that. Or someone said in the chat, the other LaFleur brother. Like you just kind of, if you can make an offense that looks like that, doesn't matter too much who your quarterback is. Maybe you go to Zach Wilson just for the upside, but if that's going to be the structure of your offense, I don't think that there's really a bad pick that you can make besides like keeping Sam Darnold.
So
Because
what you're saying is they should hire a Shanahan guy and trade down and draft Mac Jones.
um, yeah, that's exactly what they need to do. Someone asked me when is Setting the Edge coming back. Dude, we tried to record an episode last week and it fell apart like right at the last second. I don't even remember what happened. We had like something funny we wanted to talk about, and Justice was like, "Do you want to record?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we got to the time we were going to record, and I think we both kind of forgot about it. So that's that's par for the course. But oh no, okay, I'll take
I
that.
feel like I could have had like 7 interceptions. This could have been a full Peterman performance, and I still would have lost.
I don't think I've called a single running play all game.
You haven't.
And look, maybe this is the plan the Bills want to go with based on last week. Damn it.
Yeah, we needed that. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say if Josh Allen actually throws 5 interceptions, the Ravens are gonna win this game.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair assumption to make. Like, if the Ravens can't score with 5 turnovers, then it just wasn't meant to be. Uh, Bucks Saints. Let's hit on that for a second before we get out of here and end this game. What what were the matchups that you picked again for your article this week in our little matchup stuff?
So I picked basically Todd Bowles and Sean Payton, and like there was this criticism of Bowles after the second Saints game because they didn't really play a lot of man coverage. They didn't do a lot of their like exotic blitz fronts. They were playing more base coverage and hot drop zone.
Mm-hmm.
But when the Saints are playing 2 running backs and 2 tight ends, like you don't really have a choice. Otherwise, you're going to get the ball run down your throat. And if I'm picking my poison, I'd rather have 40-year-old Drew Brees try to dink and dunk his way down the field than Alvin Kamara just rip off big gains and Taysom Hill rip off big gains or
Right.
gains. And so, I mean, I don't know what the Bucks do personnel-wise. If the Saints are going to come out like that, they're going to spread them out. They're going to get their matchups on Devin White, he's a good player, but he's not like you don't trust him in coverage against good tight ends. And that's the reason I think the Saints are going to win this easily. I don't think there's an obvious answer on defense for the Bucks, and defensively the Saints really match up well with the Bucks too. So, I mean, we saw it play out in the 2 matchups. The Bucks dominated.
Just to clarify, you said that the Bucks should be afraid of Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill when he's running the ball, yes.
Let's go!
Oh my God. Good Lord!
Just Darius Williams, you. Wow.
He really did.
Yeah, Peggy234 just asked an interesting question. Who is our favorite play action quarterback in quotation marks? I think is the answer Ryan Tannehill?
Does Aaron Rodgers count now?
No, I feel
no,
like when you say the play action quarterbacks, it's more like the guys who kind of need that to be productive.
Yeah.
And I guess if I had to pick,
White privilege offense.
yeah, the white privilege offense. I think I'll go with Ryan Tannehill because like he can make some plays off schedule and by himself. It's just not his biggest strength. The white privilege.
I think
offense.
I'd take Tannehill too.
I mean, who'd your realistic option to be like? Tannehill, Baker, Kirk Cousins. Kirk's not a bad answer based on this season only.
Yeah, I think it actually might be Kirk. Jimmy G, Jared Goff. I think we were talking about this in the chat a couple weeks ago, but like we've seen one. I call it the white privilege offense, but we've seen one black quarterback really run this, and that was RG3 in 2012, and they broke records. Like we really never seen. We've never really seen a mobile quarterback since then get a chance to run it. Until, I guess Aaron Rodgers is kind of mobile, and we've seen what that has done for the Packers offense.
Yeah, I remember back in that 2018 draft class, I knew it was never going to happen, but I wanted the 49ers just to pick Lamar Jackson just to see what that would look like. Like that would. Can you imagine Lamar Jackson and Shanahan?
Oh my God!
They might run for 300 yards a game. They're at least hitting 200. Like, absolutely.
He'd complete like 100 of those intermediate crossing routes. I mean, the flat defender is not sinking when Lamar Jackson's the one rolling out to the sideline.
Yeah. But that's going to conclude our second Madden stream. I have won once again. I am the victor.
Close the gap, though. I'm on pace for win next week.
Yeah, next week maybe it'll be a field goal win for me instead. But yeah, that's going to conclude our second Madden stream. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll be back next week, and hopefully the divisional round will be a lot of fun, and we get some action, and they won't be as boring as the Super Wildcard weekend, which was anything but super outside of like 2 games. So, Steven, any parting shots for the people?
I hope Josh Allen actually throws 5 interceptions on Sunday. or Saturday, whenever this game is. That would be fun.
Yeah, Saturday night. So yeah, that's all we got for you guys. We'll be back next week, next Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Check it out, share with your friends, and listen to the counter where you can find it, which is basically everywhere. See ya.